Guys, you see this boat right here. This boat belonged to a friend up the street from me. He gave it to me. It had been sitting there in his yard for a couple of years. Every time I'd drive by, I'd glance over at it and think about what it could be with a little work. Finally, one day I stopped and talked to him about it. He said, "Sure thing, take it. You fix it up and make it YouTube famous." That was all the encouragement I needed, so we hooked it up and headed home. As you can see, it needed a lot of work, but that's part of what made it worth doing. I wasn't looking for something perfect. I wanted something I could bring back to life the right way. Up front, there was a hole that needed to be patched. That was one of the first things that stood out. We added some aluminum on the front using pop rivets and then fiberglassed over it. Once it was finished and sanded down, it turned out really solid and looked better than I expected. The fiberglass on the bottom was something I originally thought was okay. At first glance, it didn't look too bad, but once we really started looking closer, we could see long cracks running through it. It had been patched before, but it was clear those fixes weren't going to hold up long term. We ended up repairing fiberglass in a lot more spots on the bottom than we originally expected. Some of those areas were bigger than a quarter, and they just kept adding up. But once we finished all the repairs and sanded everything smooth, you honestly couldn't tell they were ever there. That's when I knew we were on the right track. Then we got to the transom, and that's where things really showed their age. The transom was completely rotted. Someone had added a piece of aluminum to the outside at some point, probably as a quick fix. Once we removed that and took out the inside board, there was no saving it, so we rebuilt it the right way. We put new plywood on both sides and locked everything in with fiberglass. That gave us a solid foundation again, and that's something you don't compromise on when you're running a boat, especially with a motor on the back. Once all the structural work was finished, it was finally time for a fresh coat of paint. Inside and out, we went with a deep forest green on the outside and a light tan on the inside. That lighter color helps reflect some heat and keeps that South Georgia sun from baking you during the summer months. It also just feels right for this kind of boat. Once everything was fixed up, you could really see it all come together. The paint was done, the back was finished, and the structure was solid again. It finally stopped looking like a project and started looking like a boat you could trust. Next step was ordering some seats and figuring out a cover for one last hole that still needed attention. After that, we could get her registered, and that's a whole different story. Make sure you put the correct HIN numbers on the application, or they'll deny it and send you right back to square one. As you can see now, we got the boat patched up nice. We put some new swivel seats on it, which makes a big difference when you're spending time on the water. We also added a little 4-horse Yamaha 4-stroke on the back. Nothing too big, just simple, reliable power that fits this boat perfectly. Now it was time to put her in the river and see how she does. Look at her float. We're at the boat ramp in St. George, right on the Georgia-Florida line, and we're going to take her for a test ride and see how she handles. Man, she sure is handling this water like a champ. This little 4-horse Yamaha is pushing us along pretty good. I'd say we're probably running somewhere around 8 to 10 miles per hour, and she feels steady the whole time. I've got Alan up front doing the navigation, keeping an eye out for logs and anything else in the water. We definitely don't want to put a hole in our new boat on the first trip out. I accidentally put the camera in slow motion here, but that gives me a good opportunity to thank Cole for the boat. This thing is going to be perfect for some Okefenokee swamp fishing trips and plenty of camping trips coming up this spring. Thanks again, and it's ready whenever you want to use it. We're heading back to the boat ramp now, and I think this was a successful little trip and a fine way to end this video. The boat turned out great and is going to come in very handy moving forward, so y'all keep an eye out for it in some future videos. Thank y'all for watching Blackwater Outdoor Journeys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Where the map ends, the wild begins. Stay rugged,